So good afternoon everyone. So we have our next lecture, lecture number 5, that is based on Z transform and properties of ROC. So in the earlier lectures we have discussed about Laplace transform. Already you have studied about Fourier transform in the mathematics course. Maybe you have studied about discrete time Fourier transform also. So the discrete time Fourier transform and Z transform are similar to each other. So here we perform the frequency domain representation in Z domain. So what is motivation behind the Z transform? Another important mathematical tool in the study of signals and system is known as Z transform. The Z transform can be viewed as a generalization of the Fourier transform, as I have told you. So due to its more general nature, the Z transform has a number of advantages over the Fourier transform. First, the Z transform representation exists for some signals that do not have Fourier transform representation. So we handle here large class of signals with the help of the Z transform. Secondly, since the Z transform is a more general tool, it can provide additional insight beyond those facilitated by the Fourier transform. So we start here with the bilateral Z transform. Basically, it's for discrete time signals. So that's why we use here summation over instead of using integration. So basically, the bilateral Z transform is a two-sided Z transform, as the word signifies bilateral, that means two-sided. So the bilateral Z transform of the sequence X, or you can say the sequence Xn, is denoted by Z of X, or X is defined as, you can use this way, that is X of Z, that is equivalent to summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity Xn Z to the power minus n. So it is from n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity Xn, because it's for discrete time sequence Z to the power minus n. Similarly, the inverse Z transform is given by Z inverse of X Z, X of Z, this is X of Z, which is X of n is equivalent to 1 upon 2 pi j in closed integration over 2 pi, because in discrete time Fourier transform, if you remember something, that is the integration or the fundamental period of the discrete Fourier transform is 2 pi. So at every 2 pi period, it will repeat, the signal will repeat itself. In the same way, the Z transform is in the integration having the 2 pi period. So it is 1 upon 2 pi j integration over closed contour integration over X of Z, Z to the power n minus 1 d of Z. So here small x and capital X as a Z transform pair. So we have a discrete time sequence, that is Xn. The Z transform is represented as capital of X of Z. In practice, we do not usually compute the inverse Z transform by directly using the formula above. Instead, we resort to some other means so that we can easily find out the inverse Z transform. So what is bilateral and unilateral Z transform? As in the case of the Laplace transform, we have already discussed that bilateral and unilateral Laplace transform. So it's a basically merely a difference between two-sided and one-sided Z transform. So two different versions of the Z transform are commonly used, the bilateral or two-sided Z transform and the unilateral, or you can say one-sided Z transform. So the unilateral Z transform is most frequently used to solve the system functions of linear difference equation with non-zero initial conditions. As it turns out, the only difference between the definition of the bilateral and unilateral Z transform is the lower limit of summation. As in the case of the Laplace, we have taken from 0 to infinity for unilateral and from minus infinity to infinity for bilateral. In the same way, here the summation will be from minus infinity to infinity, n is equivalent to minus infinity to infinity for bilateral, and n is equivalent to 0 to infinity for unilateral. So in the bilateral case, the lower limit is minus infinity, whereas in the unilateral case, we have the lower limit is 0. For the most part, we will focus our attention primarily on the bilateral Z transform. We will, however, briefly introduce the unilateral Z transform here as a tool for solving difference equations. So what is the relationship between Z transform and discrete time Fourier transform? As we know, the discrete time Fourier transform of a sequence is given by X of omega, or in some books it is written as X e to the power j omega. So it is given as summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity X of n e to the power minus j omega n. So you can write like this, X e to the power j omega, or in like this, X of omega. So it is n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity xn e to the power minus j omega n. So for the existence of DTFT, the sequence xn must be absolutely summable. If it is not absolutely summable, the DTFT cannot be valid or cannot be found. Also, thus the summation in the above equation should converge. So it's converging means it must have some finite value. Otherwise, if it has some infinite value, the discrete time Fourier transform is not valid. So also the Z transform of the sequence xn is given here, as in the first formula we have discussed, that Z transform of xn is x of z summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity xn z to the power minus n. So if you compare first two equations, these two equations, you will easily find out in place of z we have used e to the power minus e to the power j omega in the case of Fourier transform. So it is basically e to the power j omega which is transformed to z, or it's a pair. So we can write z is a complex variable and it is given by z is equivalent to small r e to the power j omega, where r is the radius of the circle. Therefore, by substituting the value of the z in equation 2, we can find the value of x of z. So we have x of z is equivalent to x of r e to the power, in place of n z we are using r e to the power j omega. In place of z we are using r e to the power j omega. So it is summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity xn z to the power n. So z, in place of z we are using r e to the power j omega to the power minus n. So if you solve, that is x of z is equivalent to summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity xn r to the power minus n, you can take in the same site, and e to the power minus j omega n is in the second site. So for the existence of the z transform, therefore we have xn r to the power minus n should be valid, or the summation should be valid or less than infinite. So this is the expression for that. Therefore it can be said that the z transform of a discrete time sequence xn is same as the discrete time Fourier transform of xn r to the power minus n. As if r is equivalent to 1, then the discrete time Fourier transform dtft becomes same as the z transform. In other words, dtft is nothing but the z transform evaluated along the unit circle centered at the origin of the plane. So if you put r is equivalent to 1, it both becomes equal. The z transform becomes equal to the discrete time Fourier transform. So now we solve some of the numericals based on z transform. Find the z transform x of z of the sequence where a is a real constant. So if xn is equivalent to given a to the power n un, we use x of z, that is n, we use here this formula, x of z is equivalent to summation over n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity xn z to the power minus n. So using this formula, we, in place of xn we write a to the power n un, and un we know already, that is 1 for n greater than equivalent to 0, and 0 for n less than, you can say, and less than 0. So a to the power n, z to the power minus n, and in place of un we write 1, and the limits will change from 0 to infinity. So when you solve this, put a z similar in the same bracket, that is a z inverse to the power n, and obviously this is the geometric series, infinite geometric series from 0 to infinite. So when you solve this, you will get this formula. You can use easily solve this, that is, first term is 1 plus a z inverse, second term, next term is a z inverse square plus so on. So we have till infinity, we have 1 upon 1 minus a z inverse. So this is the z transform for the particular signal. How to find the ROC or the region of convergence for the z transform? So for this, what we have to do, because the region of convergence is z transform is basically compared with the unit circle. So here the region of convergence is in the z domain is of unit circle, that is of radius 1. By taking this circle as a reference value, by taking this circle as a reference, this is real of z and this is imaginary of z. By this circle, taking this circle as a reference value, we draw our next circle based on the region of convergence. So here 1 minus a z inverse, because it's a right sided signal. So if you solve this, you will get z upon z minus a, or we can say for the right sided signal z minus a is greater than 0, okay, or mod z, because we use here unit circle radius, mod z greater than a, or you can solve 1 minus AZ inverse greater than 0, and from this here, from this also you can find out that is mod Z greater than A. So by both ways you can calculate the ROC of the Z transform. So here there is another circle which has a radius of A. So suppose this is having a radius of A. So this is the pole that is at A, and the ROC is the real, this part, that is mod of Z greater than A. Find the Z transform X of the sequence where A is a real constant. So here the sequence is given minus A to the power n, u of minus n minus 1. So how to find? From the definition of the Z transform, we can write X of Z is equivalent to n equivalent to minus infinity to infinity minus A to the power n, u of minus n minus 1, Z to the power minus n. So here u of minus n minus 1 is equivalent to 1 for minus n minus 1 greater than equivalent to 0, or n less than equivalent to minus 1, and 0 for minus n minus 1 less than 0, or n greater than minus 1. So up to minus 1 it has a value 1, and greater than minus 1 it has a value 0. So we have a limit from n equivalent to minus infinity to minus 1, A to the power n, Z to the power minus n. Again we solve or change the limit from n equivalent to 1 to infinity. So from this to this step we have to change the summation, that is put n equivalent to minus n, then it becomes n equivalent to 1 to infinity, and obviously A to the power minus n, now n becomes minus n, and Z to the power minus n becomes Z to the power n, and the limit will be changed from n equivalent to 1 to infinity. When you solve this, you will get n equivalent to 1 to infinity A1 A to the power minus 1 Z to the power n, and we solve this minus, or then A equivalent to 1, n equivalent to, for n equivalent to 1, that first term is A inverse Z upon 1 minus A inverse Z. You can write like this, or you can write like this, Z upon A upon 1 minus Z upon A with a negative sign. So it is Z upon A minus Z with a negative sign, or Z upon Z minus A. So both the Z transform are similar to each other. If you see, both the Z transform are similar to each other, but the ROCs are different, because it's a left sided signal. The ROC is mod of Z less than mod of A. So it's the internal side of the circle. So now the region of convergence for the Z transform. The ROC consists of concentric circles centered at the origin in the complex plane. If the sequence Xn has a rational Z transform, then the ROC does not contain any pole, as in the case of the Laplace also we have seen, that is, if the sequence Xn is rational, then it doesn't have any ROC, and the ROC is bounded by poles and or extends to infinity. If the sequence Xn is finite duration, then the ROC is the entire complex plane except possibly at the origin or at the infinity. Then region of convergence for the Z transform, we see if the sequence Xn is right sided and the circle Z is equivalent to R0 is in the ROC, then all finite values of Z for which mod of Z is greater than R0 will also be in the ROC. That is, the ROC contains all points outside the circle. If the sequence Xn is left sided and the circle mod of Z is equivalent to R0 is in the ROC, then all values of Z for which mod of Z greater than 0 and less than R0, because it's a left sided signal. So mod of Z greater than 0 and less than R0 will be in the ROC. Then the ROC contains all points inside the circle except possibly the origin. If the sequence Xn is two sided and the circle is mod Z is equivalent to R0 is in the ROC, then the ROC will consist of a ring that includes this circle. That is, the ROC is the annulus centered at the origin containing the circle. So in the first case, the ROC is the right side. How you will draw? So suppose this is a circle which has a value R0. If the signal is right sided signal, suppose this is the pole or the mod of A value. Suppose this is A value. So if the signal is right sided, this is the ROC basically. This is mod of Z greater than A. Now suppose this is R0, this is A, but the signal is left sided, this is real of z and this is imaginary of z. If the signal is real left sided, that is this is real of z, this is imaginary of z. So if it is left sided, then ROC is mod of z less than a. So it is this part, and it includes mod z greater than R naught also. Then if the signal is two-sided signal, so one is the reference circle, that is R naught, another one is the, suppose this is A, and the next circle is, suppose this is B, or you can say this is B, not this one. So then the ROC is, for this is left, and for this is right. So this whole part will contains ROC. So in this case, mod of z greater than B and less than A. So it contains also unit circle. Then if the z transform xz of xn is rational and xn is right sided, then the ROC is the region outside the outermost pole, that is outside the circle of radius equal to the largest magnitude and of the poles xz. If xn is causal, then the ROC also includes infinity. If the z transform xz of xn is rational and xn is left sided, then the ROC is the region inside the innermost non-zero pole, that is inside the circle of radius equal to the smallest magnitude of the non-zero poles of xz and extending inward to and possibly including the origin. If xn is anti-causal, then the ROC also includes the origin. So now the properties of the z transform, these are some properties of this z transform which is similar to the properties of the Laplace transform: linearity, translation, complex modulation, conjugation, time reversal, upsampling, downsampling, convolution, z transform differentiation, differencing and accumulation. So these are an initial value theorem which is same as the Laplace transform, that is x of 0 is equivalent to limit z tends to infinity x of z. Here it is, there it is s of xs, here it is only xz. And then final value theorem, that is limit n tends to infinity x of n, that is limit z tends to 1 z minus 1 x of z. These are the references. Thank you.